In the autumn of 1932, a young woman entered St. Mary's Hospital in rural Virginia, visibly pregnant. As she checked in using a fake name, the nurses exchanged knowing glances, noticing the tremor in her hands as she signed the admission papers. Unbeknownst to them, and utterly unimaginable to anyone, the child growing within her would become one of medicine's most chilling case studies, a living embodiment of secrets so deep and disturbing that the family involved would dedicate decades to trying to keep the truth buried. Hey, everyone! Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. That way, YouTube will keep showing you stories like this one. The child born that cold November night was more than just physically deformed. The medical records, which were sealed for over 60 years and only recently unearthed through a Freedom of Information Act request, revealed something far more unsettling. The infant's DNA told a story that would make even the most seasoned geneticists question their understanding of human heredity. This wasn't just simple inbreeding. This was generations upon generations of it. Layer upon layer of genetic isolation, so complete that when doctors finally mapped out the family tree, they discovered something that shouldn't exist in the natural world. The mother, who we'll call Sarah, had no identification on her when she arrived. She spoke in such a thick, archaic dialect that even the local nurses struggled to understand her. Her clothing was homespun, and her skin showed the unmistakable signs of a life lived far removed from modern society. But it was her eyes that most disturbed the staff, vacant, unfocused, as if she were living in a reality that the rest of us couldn't comprehend. The events that unfolded in that delivery room on November 15, 1932, would forever haunt everyone present. The attending physician, Dr. Margaret Hayes, would later write in her private journal that she had delivered thousands of babies throughout her career, but nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for what came out of Sarah's womb. The child survived for exactly 17 minutes, a mere 17 minutes that would forever alter the course of medical science. However, this story doesn't begin with Sarah, and it certainly doesn't end with her unnamed child. To truly grasp what happened in that hospital room, we have to go back almost 2 centuries to a remote valley in the Appalachian Mountains, where a single family's dark secret would fester like a malignant tumor, generation after generation, until it produced the most genetically compromised human being ever documented. The Holloway family first settled in what the locals called Devil's Hollow in 1847. Jacob Holloway, a man on the run from debts and whispers of scandal in Pennsylvania, brought his wife Martha and their 7 children into the secluded valley, armed with only 2 wagons and a fierce determination to vanish from civilized society for good. What he found there suited his purposes perfectly, a natural fortress of imposing stone walls and dense forest, accessible only through a single narrow pass that could be easily watched and defended. Jacob wasn't simply fleeing creditors. Court documents from Philadelphia, which were uncovered only in 2019 during a university research project, revealed that he had been accused of engaging in unnatural relations with his own daughters. The charges were dropped when key witnesses mysteriously recanted their testimonies. But the damage to the family's reputation was irreversible. So, Jacob packed up his secrets and his shame and headed for the mountains, where no one would ever ask questions. The valley itself seemed cursed from the very beginning. Previous settlers had abandoned it after only a few seasons, claiming that the land was somehow tainted. The local Cherokee had avoided the area for generations, referring to it as the place where spirits grow sick. But Jacob saw only opportunity in the isolation. Here, his family could live by their own rules, answer to no authority but his own, and keep their bloodline pure in ways that would eventually make even him shudder in his later years. Martha Holloway bore Jacob 3 more children in that valley before she died under suspicious circumstances in 1854. The local sheriff, such as he was, rode out to investigate but found the family so hostile and the terrain so treacherous that he simply chalked it up to death by fever and never returned. What he didn't know was that Martha had discovered something about her husband's nighttime visits to their daughter's cabin and that her death was anything but natural. With Martha gone, Jacob's control over the family became absolute. He implemented what he called the natural order, a system of arranged marriages between siblings and cousins that would keep the Holloway blood concentrated and the family's secrets locked away from the outside world. The eldest daughter, Rebecca, was married to her own brother, Thomas, when she turned 16. Their first child, born in 1856, marked the beginning of a genetic catastrophe that would reverberate through 6 generations. By 1860, the Holloway family had grown to over 40 members, all living in a cluster of ramshackle cabins connected by hidden paths.